My name is Kathy Parson, and I am dark-skinned. They used to call me Dusty.
My name is Denise Himes. I'm light-skinned, and they used to call me High Yellow.
My name is Yasmin York. I am dark-skinned, and they used to call me Darky.
My name is Nemia Cooper. I am light-skinned, and they used to call me Bougie.
I am Yvette Coleman Forrest. I am dark-skinned, and they used to call me Bugly for black and ugly.
I am Tara Evans, and I am dark-skinned, and they used to call me Charcoal.
My name is Carolyn Mosby. I am light-skinned, and they used to call me Yellow Girl.
My name is Edie Malone. I'm dark-skinned. They used to call me Black Bear and Oreo, but I like when they used to call me Chocolatey.
Many cultures have social stigmas that cause people to feel like they're not good enough. And our discussion today is going to deal with one of those stigmas, and that is the issue that African American women deal with and have struggled with for many years, and that's the issue of light skin versus dark skin. This issue is so debilitating that it has caused our African American women to have racism among themselves in how we treat each other. And today we are going to begin the process of healing. Today on Living by Design.
Imagine walking away from a 28-year executive management career in corporate America to pursue your passion of empowering the world, giving them the tools they need to live their dreams. The Living by Design show with Kathy Holloway Hill. Impactful, informative, empowering. Take a look at a few of the guests that have been on the show. It's your time to be living by design.
I am so excited that we're going to have a magnificent discussion today. Now, let's just begin the discussion by talking about society. We know there are so many pressures in society that cause us to feel like we have to look a certain way, and we have to be a certain way, and we have to talk a certain way, and we have to wear certain clothes, and our hair and our eye color and those types of things. Talk about how those social pressures have affected you personally in your lives.
Well, personally, I was really traumatized when I was a kid because I was always teased. I was always called high yellow, black trying to be white. And I used to go outside and try to get dark as I could because I didn't like my skin color. I didn't like my skin color at all. I always wanted to be dark.
Okay.
Then as I grew older and got more wise, I learned to accept who I was and take it from there.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, Kathy, do you feel like you've always had to fit in more or be more educated or more articulate in the way you speak because you're dark skinned?
I used to, until I went through a whole phase of self-awareness, just spending time alone, trying to get to know myself, feel confident, build up my self-esteem. And once I did that, then I started just, kind of just being just me and being comfortable with being me.
Excellent. I love that. Any of you other ladies, how has your experience been with society? Do you feel like that you've had pressure to be, think, look a certain way?
I have felt that way previously in just growing up a dark-skinned young lady, because people would always tend to think that perhaps I was less than because I was darker skinned. So there was a lot of pressure that I put on myself to be better and to always be at the head of the class or to be somewhere near the top of the class. If I wasn't number one, I was definitely going to be number two. But then as I started to figure it out, I didn't have to put that pressure on myself. I was good enough. I didn't have to prove anything. And once I started to figure out who I am and whose I am, meaning that I'm a child of God, then all things began to pan out the way that they should.
Awesome. Amen. Did you want to add something?
I definitely think as an African American woman, I have always felt the need to be the most professional as it relates to the way I wear my hair. And even someone wearing braids right now, is that going to be considered the most professional way as someone looking at moving up in the workplace? And so definitely as it relates to hair, as it relates to dress, as it relates to the way I speak and making sure that, you're speaking standard English, but among your sisters, are you speaking white? And so as I've gotten older, I think that the folks that I've surrounded myself with, that's been a non-issue, but definitely in middle school and high school, it was something that I was very conscious of.
Years ago, oh my goodness, we had to have perm. And now being able to be in the body that God allows me to be in, I feel so humble and grateful. We were talking earlier about me looking in the mirror, and a Caucasian woman she had an Afro pick, trying to pick out a perm, and I had a, Caucasian European comb, trying to comb out, a relaxer. Wow. And I looked and I thought, God has got to be very hurt right now, because we're paying other people to do what he automatically and naturally did for us. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to lock my hair and first go natural, because the chemicals were literally tearing out my hair, yes, and not making me the beauty that I know God has called me to be. Right. I don't care anymore.
Now let me just also ask some of the other ladies on the panel, do any of you feel the pressure to wear a weave or wear a wig or wear long flowing hair? Is that pressure for you?
I won't say that it's necessarily pressure for me, but what is interesting to me is that I receive more compliments on my hair from white women or white males.
They're always very curious.
Yeah, always very curious. And I was working for one corporation, and you're in corporate America, and change it up often. So I may be natural on Friday, but come in on Monday and I have braids down. And so there was always these questions about my hair. And it always led into this, well, as black women, and so I found myself always on this podium where I'm explaining about the diversity of black women in their hair. But the other interesting thing to me is that when I have worn weaves or I have straightened my hair, I get this reception from black men or black people in general, other black, I like your hair better that way. Because they perceive, the perception is you look better in straightened or weaved up hairstyles.
And that's interesting, because when I began the show, I talked about the racism within our own culture, that we are racist among each other, because if we see someone whose hair is long and flowing or whatever, I've never liked that term good hair, because to me good hair is clean hair.
Yeah.
So
there's no good hair, bad hair.
Right. So I think that's a phrase within our culture, because if you say good hair to a Caucasian person, they don't know what that means. Right. They have no idea what that means. So I think it's very interesting that we, within our own selves, we are destructive toward each other. Yeah, and I love all the comments about the hair situations, because I think hair is so huge, and I really want to dig a little bit more into that in the next segment, because we are really going to dig deep into the healing process. So stay tuned, because we have a lot more coming up on Living by Design.
Focus, inspiration, transformation. Fit with Renee. At Fit with Renee, she helps you get focused on your goals, inspires you to live a healthy life, and be transformed into the person that you know you can be. For more information, visit the website at fitwithrenee.com. Focus, inspiration, transformation. Fit with Renee.
Let's take a look at a few of the ladies putting in their hard work in our Healthy by Design 8-week challenge.
Go, right leg, 1, push it up, do it again, 2, good, pump it, 3, 5, 6, 7, 20 reps, stretch back over your head, good, take the swinging leg, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 6, 7, 14, and 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Welcome back to Living by Design. We are having a very empowering conversation here with our beautiful ladies. Now, before we left for break, we talked about hair, so I just want to keep that conversation going. Now, ladies, we talked during break about how within the African American culture, how we are the ones that put all the pressure and create all these stigmas about how you as a dark-skinned girl should have an afro and you as a light-skinned girl should have long silky hair. Why does that occur? Why do we do that to each other?
Well, I think it's because when you think of light skin versus dark skin, lighter skin is closer to white, and white people have straight, what we would consider good hair. And so I think that may have a lot to do with it, the skin tone closer to white and the perception of, well, you're light and you're closer to looking like a white person, so there's a perception that you have better hair.
That makes sense.
I also think corporate America dictates a lot of challenges for us. And, of course, back to lighter the whiter and better and all that. But then if you have any kind of curl or kink, and I remember growing up and, oh, girl, you got bad hair. And I remember my husband, when my daughter came out of the womb, he said, get to the root of the problem. He was telling me to hurry up and get perm on her hair as soon as she could possibly have perm on her hair, because she was dark-skinned and it was assumed that she was going to have coarse and difficult hair. And I beg to differ, because my hair is so-called coarse, but I have good hair because my hair is what people pay for in order to have it stacked up, have it pulled down, you can straighten it, you can do so many things to it. But growing up, no, my goodness, that wasn't the idea at all.
And for all of our viewers, I want to make sure that, because we have all cultures and all races of viewers, and I want to make sure our viewers understand nappy hair, kinky kitchen, kinks, all of these terms are used in the African American community. White people have no idea what any of that means. This young lady was talking about how white men will compliment her more on her hair, and I believe it's because of the diversity that we have as African American women and the many different things we can do with our hair. Yes, we can wear it straight. Yes, we can wear it natural. Yes, we can have braids. We can do so many different things, and because of that diversity, I believe that's why there are a lot of interracial marriages and interracial couples, because white men love that diversity. So let's just move on to another topic that I would love to get your take on. Do you ladies, have you yourself had any experience with, or do you know of anyone who's light-skinned, dark-skinned, specifically, who has used a skin lightening product?
I see so much of it in media, though. Like
the media can really influence you in a negative way.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's where that perception is pushed on us, that mindset. But it tears my heart apart when I've seen it on certain celebrities, the Little Kims or the,
Do you think your Little Kim did that?
Oh my, she did something. She came, when she entered into the entertainment, into hip hop, she was one color, and now she's a totally different color. So something there in her mind told her that in order for me to be successful, I gotta lighten myself. In order for me to make a mark and for people to take me serious, or for me to be accepted, then I have to somehow lighten my skin color, which is disheartening to me.
I think on a similar note to that, not necessarily with skin lightening cream, but about foundation shades. I think for especially darker skinned women, and this may be an issue for lighter skinned as well, for a long time we couldn't find a shade that matched our skin tone. So you ended up wearing a lighter one, so you end up looking ashy, or it doesn't quite match, or maybe you wanted to wear one that was a little lighter to appear a little bit lighter. So when you think there isn't even a product on the market that matches me, then where do I fit in this community? And so I think that's another piece of the differences that may be caused by way of your skin tone.
Or in the cosmetic industry, if they were going to do darker tones, they would always tend to make you orange. So if you took a picture, you came out orange. So they would go so far and only that far and no further. So then you look distorted anyway, and then you weren't able to embrace yourself. Earlier, you were talking about, Kathy, the white men embracing us more because of our hair and when we have it natural, right?
Styles.
I think the way that we can embrace that is because they feel like we're more confident if we can wear our hair in its natural state, and they can actually say, you are really a full-bodied woman, meaning that you can embrace who you are regardless of what society has placed upon you. So they can, that's what I'd like to say.
And I also believe that variety is the spice of life. Absolutely. And I'm nothing against the Caucasian culture because they have their strengths and we have our strengths and everyone has their strengths. But their hair is silky, and that's one reason they probably try to get a perm to make it curly so that they can have a little bit of diversity as well. But we have so much diversity in our hair. The natural, the dreads, the braids, and then the weaves and the wig. I mean, we do so many different things, and I think that diversity is a great thing. I think we should embrace that. There is nothing wrong. I know a lot of women say, well, you know, I go and I get a weave, or, you know, we'll be so mean to our sisters and we'll say, well, it ain't her real hair. Well, actually it is her real hair because she bought it and paid for it. So if she purchased it and she wants to wear it, and it's going to make her feel better, there's nothing wrong with that. We, as sisters, have to start loving each other regardless of the shade, regardless of the hairstyle, and regardless of, and the next thing I was going to get to is the color contacts. Because one thing, again, we, within our own culture, we will look at someone with light eyes. I have been a witness to this, and they have asked the person, I wasn't in the conversation, I was just hearing it, do you have any contacts? I have heard that.
I get asked that all the time.
Really? Is that
all
right?
the time? People ask, are those your real eyes?
When I met my husband, his eyes were blue, and I actually pulled his eyes back to see if he had on contact lenses. 'Cause I didn't believe that his eyes were blue, and his eyes were sky blue.
Really? And he's not white?
Nope.
Wow. But I think that's another thing you were talking about, the diversity. There's diversity within our shades, because even if you look at all of us,
right,
even those of us that identified ourselves as light skin or dark, we're a different shades within that. And then we have the different eye colors, and because my father had green eyes, my grandmother had blue eyes. When I was born, my eyes were gray, and then they changed to green, and then they turned brown. But so we have a lot of diversity just within our own, you know, so when we talk about the different shades, we're just a big variety within itself.
Exactly. And that's the purpose of the discussion, is because we are all beautiful sisters on this panel. And I want us to start seeing each other as beauty and allies. We are not fighting against each other. We have to be the leaders and spread the love and embrace each other. We are the mother of mankind. Amen. We give life to people. And that, if nothing else, should bring us together and make us come together instead of looking at each other saying, well, you know, she ain't this and that, or those ain't her eyes, and, you know, those types of things. So, ladies, this is such a powerful discussion, and I absolutely want to keep it going. So we're going to take another quick break, and we have so much more coming up on the other side. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Focus, inspiration, transformation. Fit with Renee. At Fit with Renee, she helps you get focused on your goals, inspires you to live a healthy life, and be transformed into the person that you know you can be. For more information, visit the website at fitwithrenee.com. Focus, inspiration, transformation. Fit with Renee.
Welcome back. We are having a fantastic conversation here with these wonderful ladies about this debilitating issue of light skin versus dark skin. We are going to get to the root of healing today. Ladies, let's talk about our children, our young girls. How can we help our young girls to love what they see when they look in the mirror? Because we know there are so many self-esteem issues that just plague these young girls today. So what can we do? What are some of the things you think we can do?
I think as parents, especially if you got a father in the family, and you have girls, it's imperative that the men tell their daughter that they're beautiful. If they put that foundation down, nobody out here can tell them different. As fathers of daughters, they need to instill in their daughters that how beautiful they are on a daily basis. As a child, I didn't hear that. So when I grew up, I always thought I was ugly anyway, because I never heard that. I didn't realize how great I was until I got older and became an adult, and I grew into myself. I was always considered the ugly duckling, and I always believed that. I never used to smile or anything, and my husband is the one that brought that out of me.
I think it's very important that we not just tell our daughters, because I have a 6-year-old daughter who is considered to be light-skinned, but that we show them, whether they're our biological children or not, we show them what beauty is from the inside out, and that how you can cultivate beauty even though society is telling you something different. That if you are a child of God and you embrace that, then you are beautiful.
And then another thing, just now in the last 20 years, we had discussed the makeup issue and how dark-skinned people, we could not get makeup because they would try to make us lighter or make us orange. Now we can show the girls by getting them things that look like them.
Yes.
Dr. McStuffins is a chocolate little girl. Barbie dolls. Barbie has a dark-skinned Barbie. So we can start giving them things that look like them that are just as pretty.
Amen.
We can't let media control our children. And so much, I go back to, my own experiences and how we talk about images of beauty in black women. Well, as a child growing up in the late 70s and the 80s and watching TV, the image of beauty was a white woman. So I didn't see a lot of me or people that represented, or little girls that represented me that were put on a pedestal as beautiful. But now we have those options now. We have dark Barbie dolls, and we have, we just need to not allow media to control what our little girls and how they feel about ourselves. And then we need to share with them some of this stuff, this junk that goes on in media, and some of the negativity and how women are viewed, that's not reality. That doesn't have to be their reality.
I love that comment, because media can absolutely destroy a young girl's self-esteem, because when you see all of the, especially the modeling industry, these commercials, when you look at the models they use in the commercials, well, body size, we're not going to even go into that can of worms, but body size, they want these young girls to believe that it's natural and normal to be a size 0. No, it's not. And it's also not natural and normal for all of these other things that they want them to believe, that, you have to be light skinned, your hair has to look like this, and you have to look like this. Your body size has to look like this. No, that's not true. What you have, what you see in the mirror is perfect. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, just as it is. Do you ladies suggest any programs? I know Girl Scouts is a big advocate for that.
In my own church, we have a girls to women's program, and as well as a boys to men, because it not only affects the girls, it also affects the young men. As our children are immersed in a social and a electronic age, we do have to arm them also with history. And the fact that we were the first in a lot of different areas. And if you look at the people, be they light or be they dark, they were all black people. And that makes us beautiful.
And we need to also help our young ladies to know not to bully. Not to allow bullying to get inside your head, because there are bullies out there. Bullies are hurt people will hurt people.
Absolutely.
And those are what bullies are. They're hurting.
And I think the other thing too is just being an example.
Yes.
Because I think confidence breeds confidence.
Yes.
And when I was little, my mom, who grew up tall and skinny, big feet, long arms, said to me, you're going to be tall, skinny, big feet, long arms. And you're going to be light and this, that, and the other. But you need to feel confident about yourself. But she didn't just tell me that, she showed me. She was very confident, and so that was what I saw. And so it made me feel like it was okay for me to be confident. And so just, trying to show that example to other young women and embrace and help them embrace who they are.
Yes.
And not to feel self-conscious about what the color of their skin is or anything like that in terms of how they look.
Exactly.
There's also a Miss Teen Righteous pageant that will also help young ladies with their self-esteem. If people are wanting to seek out that information and to let them know that they too are beautiful regardless of their socioeconomic background or what they were told. You mentioned bullying. I was bullied in high school to the point where I had to have a security guard follow me. There were telephone calls that would come to my home on a nightly basis. And that was around my junior or senior year. And now that when I hear my daughter talk about it and my son talk about the issue of bullying in the schools when it's supposed to be zero tolerance, it affects me because it takes me back there.
Did you have a comment?
She had one thing.
I wanted to mention about, Kathy, thank you so much for this show, because the more we show that we're healed, it's that whole, you just exude who you are. And so when my daughter came out, she was very light-skinned when she came out, and my husband and I looked at each other, we were like, she better blacken up before we leave, because they're not letting us out of here with this girl. And then I immediately went to a black bookstore back in the day that, way before we had so much access to everything, and I bought my daughter Lauren Afro-Tina and the Three Bears. And her face would just light up because Afro-Tina looked exactly like all of us, And but then Lauren has had an opportunity to see her mom love who her mom is. And we're just each other's heroes and mentors. We talked earlier about me when I was growing up, seeing a light-skinned girl being chased home every day by darker-skinned black girls. And I'm a darker-skinned black girl going, what could she possibly have done for y'all to rip her earrings out? And so then we become champions of each other rather than each other's enemies, because nobody wants to feel the way we have been growing up feeling. So.
One of the programs that I think is really helpful for middle school girls is CLD's Precious Miss program, because it teaches them to appreciate who they are, and they meet young women from across the city as well, and can embrace each other at a critical stage in their adolescent growth.
And there's a lot, if you get in, with the sororities that are in the city. One particular that I'm heavily involved is Delta Gems. And these are some of the topics that we talk about and help the young girls to embrace their beauty and to embrace themselves, embrace what they see in the mirror, because it's beautiful.
Because I believe these types of things contribute to teen moms, and because they're going out looking for validation from the wrong source. And because they don't love themselves, they look for love outside themselves, and it may be the wrong person that you're getting it from, and that person just wants your body. They don't want your mind and your spirit. And then we have teen moms, and these poor girls don't know what to do, and now they feel like their life is just stifled and stopped and stumbled and on hold and stuck. And so, this is a very powerful discussion, and I just thank you ladies so much for coming here today and sharing your stories and your experience and your pain and all of it. It's really going to make a significant difference in healing our community. This show is the beginning of the healing process for me, for all of my African American sisters on this panel today, and for you. So I want to let you know, when you see someone, don't judge them by what you see, because you don't know where they've been. You don't know the pain they've experienced. You don't know their journey. You may see their glory, but you don't know their story. Love them, embrace them, and let's build a strong community and a strong nation. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Hi, we're all sisters, and we're living by design.